what has been the reception so far? Because you've been doing this a short amount of time, really. This is a somewhat new product, you could say. How have people received it in general from your experience?
People that are aware of that are by themselves searching, they are very interested, and they normally buy the charger. They are happy, and they feel the differences. They observe the differences because they are subtle differences. So you have to learn to observe them. So I think then we have also the other part of people that are very skeptical, which is normal. Mm-hmm. There are also a lot of new applications that we are working on, and so it's like a world that is opening. And so it's also difficult sometimes to find the financing to follow up all these applications, but.
Well, if you could patent water, it'd be a different story, right? I'm sure Big Pharma may be knocking at your door if this was the water.
They're trying to make it private, a private product. So
of course,
that's the first step. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from our experience, because we've recommended this to patients, we've been using it ourselves at the clinic. It is nuanced improvements. It is that understanding of feeling a little bit more energy, feeling a little bit more recovery, better sleep, all these things that are, again, if you looked at it on a day-to-day, it wouldn't be significant. But that's the beauty of, I think, healing in general is never on the short term. It's always on the long term. You are playing this, in this life, play the long run. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And,
it's a marathon.
And when you use something like structured water, you're always adding to the longevity of the marathon, I think. You're increasing your chance of living healthier longer, and you're taking the right action for something that is so important, water, 60 to 70% of our body, in improving that quality. You are basically putting in that very, very high quality gas into your Ferrari. And we are all our own Ferraris in a sense, so why wouldn't you invest in that, correct?
Yeah, correct. So, yeah, you don't put a diesel in a Ferrari, a dirt diesel in a Ferrari. You put
never.
Yes. So this is what the basic. And also, speaking of marathons, studies are looking at you don't need to put so much water, but it's important to put the quality of the water. There are sometimes there were cases of marathon runners dying because they drank too much water during their run. So it's a matter of the quality of water that you put inside your body.
You're right. The quality of anything you could reduce, because I was speaking to someone, they basically said they've seen patients, doctors have seen patients that are constantly drinking water, tap water. Fill up their plastic jugs, 1 gallon, drink a few of those a day, which is, several gallons and probably too much water, but still almost in a dehydrated state and still not feeling good and not expelling as much as they should, whereas they could drastically cut down the amount, drink higher quality water, structured water, and get a vast improvement from that.
Yeah, correct. And actually we have we have a laboratory exam that proved that drinking structured water increases muscle activity, and also after that's an immediate effect of drinking structured water. So it's interesting to see how immediately the charge that you get from structured water goes directly in the muscle activity, and also the result of a heartbeat regulation. Mm-hmm. After like more or less 20-30 minutes after drinking this water. So tests were run by a Slovenian laboratory called Bion. It's quite famous in running all this kind of tests on.
Are those available to share with us?
Yeah. I'll send you a copy of it.
Yeah, because I'd love to put that up. Anyone listening, you can go to our website with this podcast when it comes out and look into that, because I know people love to go down the rabbit hole and they want to prove that something works, which I understand. Like you said, a healthy dose of skepticism is a right way of going about it. It just has to be across the board. If you're skeptical of this, then be skeptical of regular water too. Look into that a little bit. Look into tap water. Look into all different. Don't be skeptical of just one side. Be skeptical of all of it equally, I say.
It's a good point. We take too many things for granted just because we are used to it.
That's right. And I think we're seeing it more than ever in 2020 that we find ourselves on one side or the other.
Yeah, correct. This is a period where we need to learn to be skeptical.
We have to learn to be skeptical with an open mind, correct? Because something like this, you hear some people say, what are they taught? Structured water is water. I spray it on me, it washes me, that's it. Why would I spend any money on structuring it? But this is where skepticism, okay, but look at it with an open mind. Don't write it off without looking into it and really, learning about the science. As I said, and you said, there are Nobel laureates, incredible minds behind this that would say, of course, this is something we've known for a very long time.
And also, I would say, scientists who already arrived at the top of their careers, putting everything in jeopardy just to study water and to go beyond what is normally accepted by scientists, and accepting the challenge and say, okay, I put everything in play, and I'll play with my reputation, but I want to go deeper and to understand. And this is a big act of courage that I would say this kind of scientists put and showed us. And so this is how we should act, actually, really, like being curious and study and inform ourselves. This is what I was taught for many years, just be curious and skeptical and study. So it's something important.
It's massively important. I am glad there are curious people out there looking into this and questioning things. And I think there is a general movement to understand the quality of water. Now you hear about these things, Flint, Michigan, there were lead in the water, it's terrible for, and all these things are coming out. And we are hearing more and more about all these things in our water and how it's impacting us. So I do believe there is a movement that's starting, and it probably has already been there in some different markets and niches, but it's moving into understanding quality of water is incredibly important. How are you going to go about that? And here you have this solution that you've helped to bring out there with great minds behind it in Infinity Water Charge.